Veronica. Welcome to the podcast. I am so excited to have you joining me today.
I'm so excited to be here.
I love this. And I mean, it's been a long day for both of us because earlier we had a very long, in depth workshop that I was leading in the JVA for, and we are doing sold out launches and like coming up with your plan and all that stuff. So that was a very intense morning. And now we're here.
hmm
I'm so glad we get to have this one on one time. And this is your first podcast. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Amazing. Well, you know what's really exciting about this is you are in the early stages of building your jewelry business. You recently joined the Jewelry Business Academy and you're still in your full-time corporate job, but you're building this up in a really sustainable, intentional way. And I love being able to like bring you on in this early stage to just talk about like what you're navigating at this stage in business, because what you're navigating is what so many other business owners are navigating when they're still in the corporate, still dipping their toe into their business or moving towards going full time. And there's so many different challenges and mindset blocks that we have to navigate and work through. And so I'm excited to have you coming on now, and then we'll bring you back on in a few months as well to just like talk about the growth and the journey and the stories and the challenges that you've been able to navigate. And so, just to kick us off, do you want to share very briefly about who you are, where you're based, and about your jewelry brand?
Okay, so my name is Veronica, like you said. I live in Las Vegas, but I'm from Argentina. I started my jewelry business because I needed color and creativity in my life. I love the job that I have. I'm an interpreter for immigrant families, and I like the job itself. I
Hmm.
just don't like the conditions, and they're getting worse. So that's pushing me even farther to pursue this business and dedicate myself to it.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I mean, I think it's so special when you do have a job that you love the actual work. That's an incredible blessing to have. Um, and so you've obviously been like kind of slowly building out your jewelry brand. And I feel like even just looking at you now with your beautiful gallery wall behind you, and your studio is the cutest, coziest space. It's just got so much warmth and so much soul. I always comment on it when I see you sitting in there.
Yeah.
You've created this beautiful sanctuary just in your studio, and you're doing the same through your jewelry and through your work. How has like building this jewelry business given you a different way to express yourself outside of your corporate job?
Well, my corporate job doesn't need much of my creativity,
Uh-huh.
so this is where I use that part of me that's very big. I realize that I need kind of both sides, but um, always creativity in every stage of my life has helped me, especially the hard stages of my life. So it's something that at this age, after raising my daughter, after having lots of different experiences, this is where I want to be right now. And I feel like this is the time where I can actually choose it. So
Mm.
that's the space, it's my space.
It's your space. I love how you said it's your space, your time to actually choose it. What does that mean to you?
It means that I did have businesses before, but I didn't. I like you had in your last podcast. It was more of a hobby, and since my energy was all over the place, I didn't really take it that seriously. And I feel like finally I have the time uh, besides my job, but I'm not raising my daughter anymore. I mean, she's much more independent. So this is the space for me to be myself, to I feel like I express myself through creativity a lot, especially because I l- I live in a country where the language is not my first language. I've always been very strong with words and communicating, but when it's your second language, sometimes it's harder. So I express myself a lot through the things that I make. So
Mm.
it's also a way of communicating with the world.
Oh, that is beautiful. And I love how you shared that, in your previous business or businesses, some of them were maybe more of a hobby and you showed up in that way. And for this one, it's like, no, no, this is a business. This is going to be like that business. And it's crazy what a shift, just that one mindset shift can make in your results in your business. Because we had someone on the podcast recently, one of our clients as well, and I think you saw her sharing in the group. But she came in and she didn't hasn't even like gone through the program yet, but one of the very first things we talk about at the very beginning of the training when we're talking about mindset is being obsessed with your brand and showing up as though like you're full time, like this is a real business, it's not a hobby. And she just took some elements of that and changed how she showed up and like made almost hit her annual goal in 3 months. It was
Wow.
it's crazy the power of like that little mindset shift and then put on top the strategy and stuff. It makes a huge difference. And so what does it require from you mentally to keep believing in the creative dream, keep showing up for your business when your day-to-day life is already pretty full?
Yeah, I think it's not because I'm talking to you, but I think the JBA has really helped me. The other day, this weekend actually, I was making something that wasn't jewelry, and
Mhm.
I was about to give up. And then I remember what you encourage us to just keep going, keep going. I think I learned to have a very low threshold for frustration. So when it got really hard, really challenging, I would just give up. And
Mhm.
I'm learning just by knowing it's amazing how a business can show you things about yourself. In a way, it's a mirror to you. So, uh, not giving up is something that I consciously work on, but also having a community to encourage me and to have accountability with helps a lot too.
Oh, I love hearing that so much, Veronica. And um, if somebody's listening to this and they're like, oh, yeah, you know what? That's something I struggle with, which is, sometimes like feeling like, I think I'm going to quit this. Like, this is a little hard. This is a little tough. I don't know if I want to keep showing up. How did you slowly like shift to becoming the version of yourself that's like, no, no, it's okay. It's hard. Yeah. And we're going to keep taking those steps. Like, what if it, like apart from the community and JBA and stuff, but like what has like helped you shift there?
I think my history, I have lots of interests, lots of passions. I used to teach yoga. I'm a yoga teacher also.
Wow.
So that work of meditating and being aware of your body, of your thoughts, being a motherhood can be very frustrating and you can't give up there. So you keep going.
You're in it for the long haul.
You are. And I think my age, I mean, as the years go by, you trust yourself more and you know yourself more. So you know what you can take and what you can't take. And since I've had these businesses before and they were just like a side thing, but I always wanted to have my own thing, my own business.
Yeah.
And if I didn't uh, uh, make myself try to put everything I can and go over the difficult stuff, uh, then I would never do it. So
Hmm.
I want to do it, and now I don't feel the weight that for me motherhood was something that took all my attention. Since I don't have a network, I come from a country where you usually have a network of people that help you raise your kid. Here
Mm,
it wasn't like that, so I put all of my energy there. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but that's what I could do at the moment. And I don't
yeah.
have that pressure anymore. So that also helps me just say, this is my time. This is my time
Yeah.
to dedicate whatever I have to creating my business, which is business is such a word, but it's my world. Like my
Yeah.
little world within the world.
It's so beautiful the way you framed this, Veronica, because I can see it. A lot of mothers are going to be listening to this and like deeply resonating with what you shared, because in the world that we live in today, there isn't as much a community helping raise your children, and it takes a huge amount of like emotional capacity and energy and time and all those things, and a lot of sacrifice comes along with that. And I see a lot of women having to like put off their business dreams or whatever it is for a few years, which there's nothing wrong with that. Some people are able to do it as well. Everyone's on their own journey. But, the fact that you're able to like be like, hey, now is my time. And I'm going to keep that promise that I made to myself that now's my time. Because there's always going to be things coming at us where it's like, well, this would be a great reason to maybe bail on this because something else needs me. There's always going to be things needing more from us. And being able to be like, well, this is important. I made this promise to myself. So when you talked earlier about personal growth being your favorite thing about this journey, it's my favorite
Mhm.
thing too. And I love hearing, like, just on your journey so far, what part of you growing, like, what part of you expanding has been your favorite thing to see? Maybe it's like taking up space online. Maybe it's like using your voice. I don't know. What is that for you?
I think so far, I don't know what's going to happen in the future since I'm in the beginning of it. I think my favorite part is how my vulnerability shows up and how I deal with it. So right
Mhm.
now I'm in the stage where I have to know myself to know what to say about myself or how to show myself. So that part discovering uh the weaknesses that I have and the strength that I have so far, and things that I didn't think I could do, prices, all the more rational things, not that creative, that I thought I could never do, I'm doing them. So far,
Yeah.
this is what I treasure the most of what I've learned so far.
Oh, I love that so much. And, vulnerability is so important in business. Like that trait is so needed. And it's hard, like sales, and like there's so many, everything in business is a vulnerable thing. Just even the
Mhm.
idea of starting a business is a vulnerable thing, because there's that element of, oh, it might not pan out the way I thought. I might fail. I might have months that dip. I might have little challenges. And I can guarantee everyone listening to this, if you have a business and you actually go build the business, you are going to have thousands of little failures. That's business. Welcome to business. Lots of wins in there as well, but it's pretty much impossible. But it's even harder to like navigate that when you're putting out something that you've put your blood, sweat, and tears into, when you've poured your
Mhm.
heart and soul into your designs, and your designs in particular. Like there's so much soul and so much thought going into these pieces. So when you are creating something that's so deeply personal, so expressive, how do you move through the vulnerability of putting it out into the world?
Well, I'm working through it. um, I believe in myself a little bit more. Like before, it was doubt after doubt after doubt. So now this is what I made, and it does have value. I try not to compare myself to other people, which also helps in not believing in yourself because the everything looks better somehow
Mhm.
when other people make it or when other people show it. So yeah, I think believing in myself more and being very conscious when I make my pieces that this is the best that I can do with each piece. I think that
Yeah.
helps also.
Oh yeah, 100%. That makes so much sense. I think, well, obviously believing in ourselves is so crucial, and it's so easy to fall into the comparison game. The thing that you just said about being like, oh, well, there's always people who can do it better, and this is this. Look at us, like just like subtly, we just like break ourselves down all the time without even realizing it. And it's so interesting when you start being aware of that self-talk essentially, because if you had your daughter here right now and you said that to her, let's say she was building a business and you're like, yeah, you're doing good and you have to believe in yourself. But like, even though your stuff isn't as good as other people's,
Mm.
You would never say that. And it's so funny as like business owners, and it's not just you. I see so many people. I used to do it all the time as well. But when we can slowly just become aware of these little ways that we break ourselves down and slowly start rewriting that story, our brain then wants to go prove that story right. And I'm not into manifesting the successful business. Like that's just not
Mhm.
my cup of tea. But I do believe in having a really strong mindset and then doing the work to bring that to life. And so I'm glad that you shared that, Veronica. And, you've obviously been in the JBA just for a few months now. You're still in the very early stages, but I'm always kind of curious to hear how has being around other jewelry business owners at very different stages in the JBA community kind of shifted what you believe is possible for your own business?
Well, being a witness to that is very powerful,
Yeah.
because when we have our calls and people show their doubts and their vulnerability, and lots of them said, I didn't think I could do this, and then they're doing it, and they're doing it very successfully. So being
Yeah.
a witness to that is very, very powerful to me. That helps me see that, why not? I mean, why not? Why can't I do it? Why can't
Yeah.
that happen to me, or make it happen to me?
I love that. Yeah, 100%. I was talking to a different client a few weeks ago who sometimes falls into comparison. She's looking at other more successful brands on her own Instagram and is like, why can't that be me? And I was like, look, this is like when we see other people who are maybe further ahead of us or doing what we're wanting to do, this is just proof. Like, if they can do it, I can also do it. Like, this is proof from the universe that I can do this too. And so I'm so glad, like, seeing people at all the different stages. And I think also seeing the vulnerabilities that you wouldn't see on Instagram. Like, nobody's
Hmm.
posting the full story on Instagram. You realize how human everyone is, how people have so many challenges. Like you've probably noticed in the JBA, we have mothers, we have homeschooling moms, we have a lot of people with chronic illness in and out of
Mm.
hospital. We've got it all. And so nobody's got this perfect dream life that they're navigating the perfect circumstances and building their business. Like everyone has their challenges. They're very different, but they all have them. And I think seeing that, I'm curious, has that impacted your belief as well as to what's
Totally.
possible?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. The people in the calls are real. You can, I already, message some of them, they message me, and yeah, you see them much more raw and real in the calls. And maybe you see, I mean, all of them are very talented and they have
Yeah.
amazing products. But yeah, having this community and knowing that, or seeing that they're regular people with their doubts, with their weaknesses, with their bad days, really, really helps. Yeah.
Mm, I love hearing that. And so you're obviously like you've gone through a lot of highs and lows already in your business, but I'd love to hear, Veronica, what is one mindset shift that you're currently working on as you step like into this next few months of your business?
Um, Keeping myself accountable, having a schedule and sticking to it. Lately, I had to pivot, like to do a hard pivot and stay in my job for longer. So
Mhm.
it took me a while. It takes me a while to find my footing again after such a big change, like sudden change. And I was a little lost, I have to say. Last week, I was a little lost. I didn't know what to do, what my priority was, because everything was scheduled for much faster than now. I have more time to prepare for everything, and less time
Yeah.
because I'm still working. But uh, that having more, being now that I'm finding myself again in this space where I found my footing, and the call today helped me organize myself and like start with a calendar again. Everything was up in the air before. Now, the good thing about this change is like I have more time to breathe and think about it. So I'm going to start my calendar again and kind of starting again in a way, a little bit. I mean, I'm
Mm.
more ahead than I was when I joined, but this has been a big change. So I had to kind of move all the pieces around again.
Yeah, thank you for sharing because that's it's a tough thing when you're anticipating, oh, I'm going to go full time by XYZ date and then things change, like life happens and you're like, you know what? We're going to change things up. And we often don't consider the emotional toll of these decisions on ourselves. Like, it's like, yes, on one level, this is a really simple decision. And it's just like, oh, we just changed the date XYZ. But the emotional toll of being like, okay, well, now I have to kind of grieve what I thought I'd be doing at this stage and what I thought I'd be doing in the summer and realize it's not that it's not going to happen. It's just going to happen a little bit later. And that's okay. And there's also little things that we can celebrate that we get to keep for longer. But that emotional toll we often don't take into account as business owners because we're like, oh, I should just be able to keep pushing through and keep showing up consistently. And it's like, we're not robots. We're not robots. So I actually think the fact that you're like, you were kind of up in the air. What does that tell us? That you're a human. You're very human. You're navigating very real emotions when, in making these big decisions. And I'm glad that you're feeling back on track. This is exciting. Um, what would you say is like your best piece of advice to someone listening who's maybe um, navigating these early stages of building their business and is wanting to feel more steadfast and like, I'm committed to this. I'm committed to myself and I'm committed to showing up in my business, no matter the little hurdles that come my way, no matter the little challenges.
I would say writing things down has
Yeah.
helped me. Also, finding little moments of quiet because it's hard to know yourself when you're always bombarded by external things. I know it's hard sometimes to just sit and do nothing and just think, or maybe just observe what's around you, listen to what's around you. But that's when maybe the answers are not coming right at that moment, but you made a little space for the answers to come at one point. I think everybody's guilty of just like filling my space with like the
Distractions.
radio and reading things and the news and scrolling and all that, even reading sometimes. But uh, to come to that decision to dedicate your energy to something that you want, you have to know yourself a little bit better so you know what you want. You have to have some space to really see those things.
That is brilliant advice, Veronica. And what's interesting is I did exactly this when I started my jewelry business many years ago and when I started the coaching business. I remember making the decision. I was living alone in a condo, working a corporate job when I decided to start my jewelry business. But before I started, I didn't even know what I needed to do, but I made the conscious decision when I moved into my condo that I was like, I am not going to watch Netflix in the evenings. I'm not, maybe I'll read for like half an hour before bed, but I'm going to let myself be bored. I'm going to let myself be
Mm,
bored for a few months. And that's when the idea of the jewelry business came to me. Like, we need space. We also need to like try new things and explore. So there's a balance here, but
mhm.
space is so like in the society we're living in now where we're bombarded by a million things and we're so hooked on scrolling and stuff. Like, I'd say this is like, it's like a richness to be able to just give yourself that space and that headspace. And it's a beautiful form of self care as well. So I love that advice. And we're going to bring you back on to talk about like your experience in the JBA once you've had more chance to implement. But just off the top of your head, for someone who's like thinking of coming and joining us, maybe they're in a similar stage to you, would you recommend it? What's your favorite thing about it? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I absolutely recommend it. I think having the community, having a guide like you, kind of guiding us, or having the community, seeing how, look, what we talked about before, seeing people in different stages of creating their businesses, seeing how they are doing it, and everybody's doing it a little different. Their approach to the different stages of the business. I think that's the most valuable. Finding a community of like-minded people, especially if you live somewhere where it's not your country, maybe, or you don't
Mm,
feel it's, you know, like that you have so many contacts or networks. Even if you live somewhere where like almost you don't know anybody else who's a jewelry maker, um, having this community is invaluable to me.
I love hearing that. That's awesome. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I just suddenly remembered something, Veronica, and I don't know if it was you, but I know we have two clients where this happened to. They listened to my podcast in January and then they signed up for the wrong program by accident and they
Yeah, it
messaged me
was
being
me.
so that was you. You signed up for the wrong program, messaged me. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. I was like, I'm really sorry. I don't see you anywhere. And then you actually just signed up for this one anyway.
Yeah,
That
I
was
did.
you?
Yeah, that was me. I was so excited, and yeah, I realized that I think the difference in the name is very small,
Yeah,
very hard to catch. So I
yeah,
signed up for that one, and then it's like, what am I gonna do? And then I talked to Desiree, and I'm like, this is the program that I want to be in. So I signed
yeah.
up for this one, and I got a refund from the other school. So that was great. I was lucky, but I was sure that this is the program that I wanted to be in.
That's awesome that you were able to do that. And I'm just curious, we're not going to name what the other program is, obviously,
Hmm.
but I'm just curious, like, what made you be like, this is the one for me? Like, was there like a big like
Um,
thing that you were like looking for?
well, your videos really helped. What other people were saying about it too. Also, yeah, the times were more friendly to my schedule. That
Yeah.
helps too. And it seemed like such a warm place that there's something instinctive too that call me to it.
Oh, I love that. Well, I'm so grateful you came and joined this community. We love, love, love having you in the JBA. And I am just so excited for what you're building. I can't wait to bring you back on in a few months, Veronica, and
Oh.
we'll share your journey. So when you come back on in a few months, what are we going to be
Mhm.
celebrating?
Uh, that I sold my first collection, that I feel much more comfortable with myself in the business, that I feel like this is really my little world, my space, that I can
Oh,
share with other people.
that is beautiful. I am so excited for you to come and share and celebrate that. And I know we're going to have people listening who are going to be like, oh my gosh, I want to follow along, connect, support Veronica. Where can our listeners find you and how can they support you?
Instagram would be the best place to find me. It's Vivero Jewelry. That's my
Instagram.
name on Instagram. And I'm working on my website, so I still cannot give my website name, but I think that's the easiest way to find me.
Amazing. We will link that in the show notes for anyone listening so you can follow along and connect with Veronica and celebrate her and cheer her on. But Veronica, this has been so wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me.
It's been amazing. I was a little nervous at the beginning, but it was so comfortable. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
I love it. Your first podcast done and dusted.
Hmm.
Love
Yeah,
it.
I've done it.
You've done it.